Alright, hello you lovelies and welcome to This Week in Comics. This week we're going to be talking about X-Men getting a writer. That's right, the X-Men movie at Marvel finally has a writer, which means we are mere steps away from getting cast, mere steps away from having an idea of tone, mere steps and announcements away from knowing what the future of the mutants is at Marvel Studios. I'm so excited. This means it's officially moving forward. We're going to talk all about the writer, what he's done, and what I think that's going to mean. We are also going to talk about the Venom War going on over at Marvel Comics, a giant crossover event starting in August. Also going to talk about Rob Liefeld being done with Deadpool after one last ride. That's right, we're going to be talking about Deadpool Team-Up, which is the end not of Rob Liefeld doing comics, but the end of Rob Liefeld working on Deadpool. He wants to go out at the top of his game, and we'll talk all about Deadpool Team-Up. Also, this is This Week in Comics, so we're going to talk about my favorite 9 books from the week of May 15th. I read 50 to 60 comics a week, so you don't have to. I'm going to break down my favorites from the week, and if any of them sound good, you should seek them out, as well as giving you previews of what's coming out today at your comic shop, today being May 22nd, giving you a preview of all the stuff I'm personally going to be checking out. That'll do it for this intro. Please hit subscribe, please like, please comment, please do all the things. I wanted to hit 25K in May, and I did, thanks to you all. We're now at this number. I want to get it to 26, so thank you so very much. Without further ado, it is This Week in Comics.
Let's do the list. Spider-Man.
Guilty.
The Incredible Hulk.
Afraid so.
Oh man, this is so cool. The X-Men.
Now that you mention it.
Alright, you lovelies, kicking off the week of May 15th, we've got Batman Dylan Dog number 3. Now, this is from a very Italian duo of Recchioni and Deladera, a fantastically Italian-feeling comic, to be honest. This one really stuck the landing. This is a 3-issue miniseries, and to be honest, this is my favorite issue of the miniseries, and it stuck the landing so well, I would recommend all 3 issues. In this issue, Dylan Dog, who is a post-life mystery solver, a man who deals with the dead and kind of solves the mysteries of their afterlife, teams up with Batman, a very practical detective of our life, and they end up actually having to team up with the Joker to solve the mystery and to end the murder from a dastardly man worthy of the two of them having to team up. I love the Joker dynamics here. I love this book. Check this one out. Then we've got, and one I really am happy to say is amazing, Doom number 1. This is from Hickman and Green, and I was so hoping this book would be amazing, and I'm happy to say it is. Doom opens with an MF Doom reference, swan song, epitaph, love letter. This makes me so happy. This is the first solo Doom book published since we lost MF Doom, and showing the reverence here in the comic that inspired MF Doom, the Ouroboros of respect here is amazing, and the book itself is fantastic. Jonathan Hickman, one of the strongest writers working right now. This man did all of the Krakoa kickoff. If you love the X-Men Krakoa, you love Hickman. He's one of the strongest. Like I said, he did Fantastic Four amazingly. He's done some really strong work on X-Men. He's on Ultimate Spider-Man right now. He's writing Doom, and the art by Green is also amazing. Check this book out. Then we've got Fish Flies number 6. This is the 6th issue in a 7-issue miniseries that is astounding. Each of these books is its own beast, written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is one of those names, if you read comics, you know. He is responsible for so many independent stories that are just so heartbreaking and wonderful. He dabbles in the big too, but he's mainly an independent guy. And this book has been about a man who gets turned into a fish fly after committing a lot of crime and befriends a little girl who's taken horribly advantage of. This kid is beaten and abused and just not thrilled to be alive in her world, and you see this sympathy from this fish fly criminal creature, and through the story they form this amazing like Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer friendship. And what this issue is the penultimate issue. There's only one left, and right before it gets to the big finale, we see the backstory of how the fish fly curse came to be. We see this amazing folk tale from like Irish mythology. This book's just crazy. You never know what it's going to go, and this issue is maybe my favorite in the whole run so far. It's a 7-issue series. If you want to try issue 6, you can. This book's actually pretty self-contained. If you like it, I recommend going back to 1, but Fish Flies number 6, far and away one of my favorite books this week. We've got Miles Morales number 20. This is from Ziegler and Vincentini. This is the first issue after that big 300th issue. This is just a really good time. I love when Spider-Man stories can be small, and this is Spider-Man, Miles Morales, with his clone, Glorp, and their sister going on a day in the park. This book involves a love of art. This book involves very small-town, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man vibes, and it's a really cool opportunity to see how the Clone Saga is handled with Miles versus how it was handled with Peter, and I really love Glorp being used this way, and I really love how much this book is reverent to art. Really fun, very friendly neighborhood issue of Miles Morales Spider-Man. Speaking of Friendly Neighborhood, our next one is going to be Miss Marvel Mutant Menace number 3. This is from Perzada, as well as Iman Vellani herself, and Vincentini. Now, this book is very interesting because it takes place after we've seen Kamala kind of rolled into the X-Men. Now, Kamala Khan is a mutant as well as an Inhuman. She was reborn a mutant, and we've seen how her life, that was already hard in Jersey City, already regarded as a bit of a menace around town, very Spider-Man, that she, as a mutant, is even more persecuted. So it's a really good commentary on the mutants. It's a really good commentary on what it's like to feel an outsider. And it's really interesting to see her get double the heat because of being now an X-Man and someone with powers. This issue in particular brings back a very interesting character. I don't want to give it away in case you don't know, from both the show as well as the comic book. And it's a bit of a love interest, so there's a lot of really cute teen dynamic in this book as well. Check out this run. Iman Vellani certainly knows how to write the character she plays on TV, and it's good to see her devoted to the comics as well. Next up is Napalm Lullaby number 3. Now this is from Rick Remender and Bingle. Rick Remender, one of my favorite writers in comic books, hard stop, period. Deadly Class, one of my favorite runs of all time. This book is shaping up to be a fantastic look at philosophy, at society, at what it means to believe blindly, at what faith is, at what we believe in our societal constructs, at the power of government. There's so much at play here. There's so much philosophy. There's so much there's a lot of big ideas handled in a very fun way that should be too heady to enjoy, but you manage to find a way to use comic tropes to make it more palatable. It's a dark, horrible world out there. In our world at times, Napalm Lullaby looks at some of those darknesses and uses them in an interesting way. This book, this issue, pretty dark, but I'm excited to see where it goes for some redemption in issue 4. Honorable mention to Redcoat number 2. For the second month in a row, Redcoat has been my number 10 out of 9. I just want to give it some love. It doesn't quite have me, but I do love Jeff Johns. I love Brian Hitch. I love the energy of this book. I haven't found my affection for the lead enough to have him crack the top 10, the top 9. If there was less good books this week, this would have made the top 9. It was so close, but not quite. Then we've got Something Epic number 10. This is from Simon Kodrowski. This book has been every single month, I think, except for one in my top 9. I adore this book. Something Epic changed its protagonist halfway through its run. It finished one arc, pivoted into new protagonists, love the new protagonist just as much as I love the old one, and this particular issue deals with this giant idea of the world of epics are people that can control imagination, and in this world of imagination, that's the most powerful thing. And in this, you have every single art style, you have every single idea and concept from comic books, from literature, it's like Page Master on crack. It's fucking crazy, and it's so good. And this issue, she's teaming up with a Howard the Duck type, and they're having a conversation in a library, and that brings us a new character, but also brings in a new concept of what books are, and how they're ancient knowledge and ancient power. Just read Something Epic. It's nuts. It's so good. I love this book. Check it out. We've also got You and I number 4 from Straczynski and Choi. A lot of times in the 2000s, there were these comics that were commentary on comics like Squadron Supreme, The Boys, a lot of books that did the what if you had powers in our world thing and made it really dystopian and dark. This is a new one of those, but it's in a post-2000s world. It's more like the 2020s. There's a lot more surveillance. There's a lot more commentary on superheroes. There's a lot more an awareness of superheroes. This book is really interesting in how it's handling its leads and support staff, and I really like its villains and their worldview because they're very evil, like pure evil, almost mustache-twirling evil, but they stay interesting. Very, very captivating book. I love J. Michael Straczynski. This is no exception. And lastly for the week is Weapon X-Men number 4. I adore this book from Gage and Sonar. This is multiversal Wolverines teaming up to protect one of the Jean Greys and take on Onslaught. Onslaught is used so interestingly here. The Wolverines, all of their own unique personalities from their own world. You know some of them from other canon. This book combines multiversal stuff in a really unique way and gives more humanity and heart to Wolverine by showing how he'd interact with himself, as well as different genes, as well as this rarely great Onslaught story. This is a book I didn't think would work, but totally works for me. Weapon X-Men number 4 is my final of my top 9 book from the week of May 15th. These are my top 9. I'm curious if you read any of these. Please do leave a comment below. Let me know of these, what you guys are digging, and if there's anything that you liked in May 15th that might have just been like a B, C, D, or F for me. Like maybe, I'm probably not an F, but like if there's anything I missed from this week, I'm curious if there's something I just didn't read that might be worthy of this top 9 slot? Let me know in the comments below. Also, you guys have been great about informing me. Please keep it up. I love comic book content, and a lot of times comic stuff doesn't do as well. So if you've gotten this far in the video, leave a comment below. Let me know you want more comic stuff. Last week, you guys crushed it leaving those comments. Keep them coming, because especially now, YouTube algorithm is largely based on the comments below. So I want to keep making these. I want them to keep doing well. Let me know it's working. So much love to everyone that did last week. Let's get into the news about what's happening in the world of comic books this week. It has been a big week in comic books, and it's only Wednesday. We officially have our screenwriter for the X-Men movie at Marvel Studios, and having a writer means we're that much closer to having a director, which means we're that much closer to having a cast, which means we're that much closer to having an X-Men movie in the MCU. I also love this writer. Michael Lesslie surprised the hell out of me with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It came out last year. It cracked my top 20 of 2023. I saw like 106 movies last year. It made my top 20. This movie surprised me so much because I feel like Hunger Games, much like Apes, is one of those really underappreciated trilogies or franchises where they make a lot of money and then they kind of go back to sleep. They make a lot of money, kind of go back to sleep. This one, I didn't think they could revive the franchise. Again, much like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I thought you should leave it alone with Matt Reeves. But no, I'm so glad we got more Hunger Games because Michael Lesslie is perfect for X-Men in that he showed with Hunger Games he can handle a giant ensemble. He writes young adults and teens well. He does a very good job showing scope. He's very good at his villains as well as his heroes. He makes his heroes likable. His protagonists are all believable, but to an elevated place. And you need that for X-Men. You need the people to be an eye line, but also they need to make choices that are like, whoa, okay, I guess that makes sense. And they also need to be able to handle having absurd abilities. That's the X-Men. And that was shown in Hunger Games. Now, I can completely acknowledge Assassin's Creed wasn't good. I don't remember it. That might be worse than remembering it was bad. I don't remember the movie, but I know it's been regarded as bad since. I don't think that should be as concerning for people as it seems to be online. I know people are apt to get upset, but the same screenwriters that wrote Thor: The Dark World also wrote Winter Soldier and Infinity War and Endgame. Like, there is an evolution to work, and I think the most recent job, not that the past doesn't matter, but the most recent job being as strong as Hunger Games should hopefully be fulfilling for a lot of people. Apparently Michael Lesslie is also brought in often for punch-ups on flailing franchises, for helping reinvigorate some ideas in the writer's room. Like, a lot of really perfect things for where Marvel is right now with their X-Men is where this writer seems to be with their writing. So I love the idea of someone that did a great job reviving a franchise, reviving the X-Men franchises as it's left Fox and is now being brought back over at Marvel. I think it's coming off of X-Men 97, which is beloved for a reason. It's coming off of, by that point, Deadpool and Wolverine, which looks to be absolutely huge. Like, the way this is all ramping up, Deadpool and Wolverine will make $1 billion and be the movie of the summer. So the stakes couldn't be higher. X-Men has always been hard. X-Men has always been a high-stakes game because we love our X-Men comics. But X-Men comics feel more necessary than ever in our climate, in our real world, and X-Men 97 has raised the awareness for the characters again, and Deadpool and Wolverine is going to raise it even higher cinematically. So it's a perfect time to get an X-Men movie going. I love this writer's work. I've only seen, as I said, I love Macbeth and I love Hunger Games. I don't remember the Assassin's Creed movie, but I really think those strengths I mentioned are enough for me to have really good faith in them being picky. They've been vetting writers since the writer's strike ended. The writer's strike's been over for 6 months and a little longer, and I think, from what I've heard, the first meetings they took were for X-Men, way back then. So 6 months of development picking this writer. I think by the time this airs, we'll either have confirmation that it's Ryan Coogler or we'll have confirmation that it's not. I think he's in the final stages of negotiation, and I think it's basically like going to be a yes or no. So I'd say by the weekend, we might also know our director. And that means it's right around the corner for getting our actual, team and everything assembled. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll keep reporting on the X-Men stuff. Obviously, I love these X-Men. Honestly, it's like Spider-Man and X-Men are my main comic things, and then Batman, and then, the list can go on. But, like, really, the two of them are why I love comics so much. So I'm very excited to talk about this as it develops. Might make its own video, like, once a director is hired, what I think that duo will do. If you're interested in that, please do let me know if you want to see just an X-Men movie theories video. Also, if you want an X-Men 97 what to read before season 2 video, let me know. I've gotten a few tweets, a few Instagram DMs, a few comments in YouTube various videos about that, and I didn't know if there'd be a lot of interest, but there seems to be. So let me know below, and I will make an X-Men 97 what to read before season 2 video if I get enough heat behind it, because I want to keep growing this page up. All right, that'll do it for the adaptation news. Let's talk about the comics themselves, you lovelies. In the world of the actual comics, we are getting Venom War. Venom has been a hot commodity since, well, ever. But lately, since Donny Cates took over Venom a few years back, he's stayed pretty consistently in a power position at Marvel. I think right now, with Al Ewing writing him, it's been interesting to see the pivots into more existential stuff after Donny left him as a god, and Al Ewing has grown that god concept more and more. And now we've got Carnage dealing with the concepts of godhood, of having followers, what it means to be immortal, what it means to have believers, all those ideas. Very heady concepts. So we've got these two symbiotes at a very interesting place, and it looks like in honor of the 40th anniversary of the Black Suit, we're combining that with There Can Be Only One, Highlander style, and Spider-Man getting back in the suit as well. So Peter Parker being in the symbiote suit for the first time in decades, plus all the stuff going on with the Venom War against Carnage in this case, and where those characters are in their own place in canon. All of this coming to a head in August, and we're getting a 5-issue series of Venom War, and it looks like this will be the team behind it. It looks like we're getting the Al Ewing and Aban. I love this artist. He's been killing it on Fantastic Four, but I'm not going to say his last name. I think it's Coelho. I believe it is going to be Al Ewing and Aban Coelho. Aban Coelho, if you're watching this, please let me know. If anyone knows Aban Coelho, let me know how to say his name. But this duo of Al Ewing and Aban has me very excited, and I love this cover right here, by the way, from this Venom tie-in. And then on top of the 5-issue actual Venom War, we're getting a bunch of tie-ins. So we're getting three-part tie-ins. We're getting a Venom War Carnage, a Venom War Venomous, and a Venom War Zombiotes, which I shouldn't love this cover as much as I do, but I do. I actually love all 3 of these covers. This looks like a great event in August, and it's got me. Venom just looks cool, and it always sells me on the covers, as well as a 4-part where we're getting Venom War Spider-Man, with Spider-Man back in the Venom suit for the first time in a long time. So this is obviously very intriguing with that Greg Land art there. So we're getting Venom War 5-part. 3 miniseries 3-parters, and 1 miniseries 4-parter. So a total of 5, 4 tie-ins, most of them 3, one of them 4. It'll make sense when they come out. Either way, August kicks off Venom War in a bunch of ways. Then we've got Deadpool Team-Up. Now, this ties directly into an interview that I think might already be out by the time you're watching this, or it'll be out in the next 48 hours by the time you're watching this. It wasn't out when I filmed this, but I sat down with Rob Liefeld over at The Real Rejects, and we had a long conversation about Deadpool Team-Up. We also talked briefly about X-Men 97. We also talked briefly about Deadpool and Wolverine. We also talked briefly about a lot of things, but we focused up on Deadpool Team-Up because it is his last time writing or illustrating the Merc with the mouth. Now, if you don't know Rob Liefeld, he's the inventor of Deadpool back in 1990, and it has been an incredible 34 years with the Merc, but he wants to retire his work on the character while he considers himself in his prime, and he wants to do that with a giant team-up. He talked all about how he loves those old-school Marvel team-up 2-parters, he loves the obscure characters that come out of them, and this is him writing who he wants to see Deadpool team up with, and I really love, just for me, that he wrote Deadpool the first time as Wolverine and Spider-Man kind of combined. Like, you know, the fun of Spider-Man, the mercenary elements of Wolverine, the gruffness, the comedy. You can see the DNA there, and I love that a spider, in this case Spider-Gwen, and Wolverine are teaming up with Deadpool for his last ride with Rob Liefeld. I love the symmetry there. Also, Rob's a huge Wolverine guy, so tying in Wolverine and Hulk together, that's fun. And there is a mystery character, I know who it is, you'll find out who it is in that interview, that also joins this mega team up. So it's a really fun way for him to say goodbye to Wade Wilson. The Merc with a mouth is largely thanks in the pop culture lexicon to Rob. I mean, I think that when you look at the journey of Deadpool, obviously Rob was there at the beginning, and then we've seen him grow with Joe Kelly, with Joe Mad, with Ryan Reynolds, with Nolan North, but I'm really excited that Rob wants to do a swan song for his goodbye to Deadpool. So I'm excited for this. Deadpool Team-Up comes out in August. And again, check that interview out with me and Rob over at The Real Reject. And the last bit of news I want to talk about the comics themselves, those sweet books you can hold in your hand, hopefully bought from a local comic book shop, is Wolverine Revenge. This has me so excited. Greg Capullo is one of those artists that I will always check out anything he does. His work on Batman, his work on Spawn, his work anywhere I adore. And Greg Capullo on Wolverine is an immediate yes. Look at this cover. I'm already so excited. Add to that, it is written by Jonathan Hickman, who, as I talked about before, his work on X-Men redefined the X-Men. His work on Ultimate Spider-Man has me flabbergasted with loving an Ultimate Spider-Man book as much, maybe not quite as much, but close to as much as the original Ultimate Spider-Man, which is my favorite, most approachable title in the world. So for a new Ultimate Spider-Man to be close to my favorite run of all time is astronomical. So this man, Jonathan Hickman, writing Wolverine with this artist, Greg Capullo, this is immediately one of my most anticipated books of the year, and it also drops in August. So August is comic book month, guys. We got Venom War, we got Deadpool Team-Up, we got Wolverine Revenge, all of this stuff coming out, and I am just ecstatic about the state of comics right now. Not to mention all of the stuff happening with Absolute over at DC, not to mention all the new books coming out from Image, and I will keep telling you all of those things every single week, as long as you guys want me here and I want to be here, and as long as you guys keep clicking, leave a comment below, and I will tell you what comics are coming out as soon as right now at your local comic book store. These are the books I'm going to be checking out this week, the week of May 22nd. All right, it was a big week in reviews, and it was a big week in news. I'm going to try to be a little quicker with the previews. Coming from Marvel Comics this week, May 22nd, I'm going to be checking out The Amazing Spider-Man number 50, big anniversary issue over there. Black Widow and Hawkeye number 3. Black Widow's got the Venom symbiote, and Hawkeye is ever so charming. Excited about that one. Blood Hunt's number 2. Blood Hunt 1 really impressed me. I thought I was a little summer evented out, and then Blood Hunt really brought me back, and I'm loving the tie-in so far too. There's also the Red Band edition as well as the regular. That is an R-rated version that has more pages and it's all bloodier. We've also got Fall of the House of X number 5. We are almost to the end of Krakoa and it is intense. This issue looks to be madness. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance number 3. The end of Mr. Blaze as Ghost Rider for now. The Immortal Thor number 11. This book, I love the meta-ness. I love what Al Ewing's doing at the idea of characters as gods, as deities, as concept, as IP, as being used as commodities, as commercialization takes over everything. Fascinating look at Thor, the character, and Thor, the IP, in a Marvel comic. Predator number 4, dealing with the in-canon brother of Arnold's character from Predator, fighting predators. The sensational She-Hulk number 8. She-Hulk's dating life has never been more fascinating. This is a very cute and sweet run that I've enjoyed all of. The Spectacular Spider-Man number 3. This, good viewers, is Miles Morales teaming up with Peter Parker as he does in the video game, as he does in the occasional comic, but as its own title with art by Ramos, and it is so very good. And that there looks like a Gwen Stacy and Amon Vellani, not Amon Vellani, that's how much she's Miss Marvel. That looks to be a Miss Marvel and Gwen Stacy-centric issue, which intrigues me. We've also got Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 1. If you've ever wanted to jump into Spider-Gwen, this looks to be as good a place as any. Get on the new Ghost Spider goodness. We've also got a Star Wars number 46, as well as a Superior Spider-Man number 7. This is Dan Slott back on his Superior Spider-Man steez with basically Doc Ock trying to get back in Spider-Man's body, and in this case, a evil Spider Kid, also a Dan Slott creation that came out earlier this year. Symbiote Spider-Man 2099, number 3, him fighting the Venom 2099 symbiote. Ultimate Black Panther number 4. I liked but didn't love issue 1. Each issue since has me all in. I loved issue 2 and 3 of Ultimate Black Panther. Really excited for issue 4 to see where we are with Shuri, with Killmonger, with T'Challa. Interesting stuff. We've also got Blood Hunt tying into Union Jack the Ripper. I do not usually care about Union Jack, but I will if it's in this great Blood Hunt tie-in. We've also got X-Men 97 number 3, which ties into the cartoon continuity, but as a comic. So if you're curious about this world of X-Men 97, you can't get enough after the show, check out this book. But I warn you, it did sell out issues 1 and 2 pretty quick. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, go to the comic store. If you're watching this Thursday, maybe call ahead. If you're watching this Friday, check secondhand resellers. But yeah, X-Men 97's been delightful in comic and TV form. Over from DC Comics, I'm going to be checking out Alan Scott, the Green Lantern number 6, detailing his origins way back in the day. Really beautiful love story and betrayal over with Alan Scott. Batman the First Night, that is Batman with a hyphen because this takes place in the 1940s. It is a classic Batman dealing with 40s tech, 40s villains, all sorts of goodness, and it's a really cool way to tell an Elseworld story with the Batman. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 27. Been loving Mark Waid as well as Dan Mora art on this book since the jump. Very impressive. If you've ever wanted to read Batman or Superman, seeing them together in this book has really impressed me. Catwoman number 65. She's got 9 lives, folks, and she's lost about 6 of them. So it's interesting adding some mysticism to Catwoman, but so far it's worked for me. Green Lantern War Journal number 9. I really like this book at the jump. It's fallen off a little bit for me, but I really like John Stewart, so I'm going to keep trying. John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, number 5. This book is from Simon Spurrier, and he writes one of my favorite Hellblazers ever. Like, his take on Constantine, I've loved every run, the solo stuff, the team stuff. This book is so good. It feels like Hunter S. Thompson. It feels like gonzo journalism in a comic book, but through a supernatural character. It is fascinating. Really enjoy it. If you're into this sort of thing, we've also got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. It's a bit much for me, but I know a lot of people love it. By all means, check it out. Nightwing 114, The Beginning. This is issue 1 of the final arc of the Tom Taylor run, and I've loved this run. Truly, truly, truly loved this run. And I'm going to miss the Redondo art. I'm going to miss the quippiness. I'm going to miss the joy. I'm going to miss the heartstrings of being pulled. I've really loved this Nightwing, and it's the beginning of the end of that run. We've got Superman number 14, continuing the Lobo stuff happening in House of Brainiac and also happening over here in Superman. We've got Titans number 11. This is some Chris Samney stuff. If you're reading any of the Robert Kirkman stuff over at Image, you'll recognize this artist. And Titans has been a blast. Again, largely thanks to Tom Taylor. And Wonder Woman number 9 got nominated for an Eisner. It's up for an Eisner. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. Personally, this Wonder Woman title is up there with George Perez for me as some of my favorite Wonder Woman stuff ever. Every issue is tension. Every issue is tension. Every issue is enlightening. Every issue makes me ponder. Every issue is so captivating. It's one of those books you put down and you just mull over. It's so gripping. I love this Wonder Woman book. We've got Image Comics with Blood Squad 7. It's a new number 1 from Image. You guys know my rule. If it's Image and it's number 1, I'm going to be checking it out because they are so consistent. Cobra Commander number 5. If you're in the G.I. Joe universe, definitely check that out. Feral number 3, continuing on the idea of basically cats that escaped into the woods, and much like the world of Stray Dogs, where he basically did dogs in the world of Silence of the Lambs, now Tony Fleece is doing cats trapped in the woods and being hunted. Feels very Predator, and it's so good. It's just weird enough, and I really dig it. The Forge, badass group of women, basically dystopian sci-fi epic with women that have that Ripley flavor, trying to save the world from alien invasion, but there's a lot of twists and turns I don't want to give away. It's on issue 8. I dig it, but it's fallen off a little bit for me. The Holy Roller number 6. This book has not fallen off for me. This is written by Rick Remender, but he's also writing with frickin' Andy Samberg. Andy Samberg and Rick Remender, a duo I never knew I wanted or needed, writing a book about basically a guy who gets bullied his whole life, joins the Special Forces, joins Greenpeace, comes back to his small town. He's still getting bullied, but he's not going to take it anymore, and he uncovers like an insidious plot that the bullies grew up and now run the town, and he becomes a superhero with bowling-based powers. It's ridiculous, and it really works. If you like Mystery Men and you like Spider-Man underdog stories, Holy Roller is probably your jam. The Local Man number 10, also an Eisner nominee as of today, Tuesday, when I'm recording this. This book is basically a nod at Image Comics in their heyday, but like if those characters couldn't be a superhero anymore, like someone with all the pouches and grit and intensity had to just retire to a small town, this guy is Local Man and what he's become. Lore Remastered number 1, no idea what it is, but it's an Image number 1. I will be checking it out. Rogue Sun, I'm personally not reading, but people like it. Rook Exodus number 2, continuing the Ghost Machine imprint. Anything Ghost Machine, I'm checking out because I love it all so much so far. Salmon Twitch Case Files number 3, a really fun way to tell stories around Spawn using these detectives. Really loving this so far. It's in issue 3. Void Rivals number 9, imagine a world where G.I. Joe and Transformers combine, and then you've got new IP and new characters in that world basically falling in love. Imagine Romeo and Juliet and Transformers, and that's what you're dealing with here with Void Rivals. Really impressed with this book, and it's from Kirkman, who wrote Invincible. If you like Kirkman, you definitely like Void Rivals. I've been very, very impressed so far. Personally, nothing for me from Dark Horse this week. I might be checking out The Butcher's Boy number 1 just because it's a new title, new number 1 over there. From Boom Studios, love Boom very much. I will be checking out Blow Away number 2. I will absolutely be checking out Man's Best number 3, which is a fascinating look at animals in a sci-fi setting having to do man's job, but as animals and adapting. And the big one this week, Something is Killing the Children, number 37. I've talked for about 6 years now about my love of Something is Killing the Children. It has not dwindled. It has not dampened. It has not diminished. It has only grown, and I'm very excited to see where this issue is, because issue 36 is the first of 5 issues where each is an anthology issue going back to our lead's childhood or adolescence, developing her powers. This is the second of those anthology issues with 37. If you've never read Something is Killing the Children, theoretically you could pick up just this issue, see if it's your cup of tea, and if it is, go back and enjoy the journey with some trades. That is going to be it from Boom Studios for me this week. From Dynamite, I'll be checking out Thundercats number 4, repping my boy, Declan Shalvey. Love that guy. Excited to check this one out. From IDW, there is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures number 13, and that is going to do it for me for the world of comics the week of May 22nd. As I said the last 2 weeks, it is a 5 Wednesday month, which means it's a 5 new comic book day month, which means each week is a little smaller because there's more weeks to spread out these comics. So it's a little smaller of a week. Again, it will be probably next week as well. And then June's going to be crazy. And we're into full event season by July and August. So that's what I'm checking out this week. What are you reading, dear viewer? Let me know in the comments below. Please do like, subscribe, hit all those buttons. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're enjoying. Let me know what of this news excited you. Excited for Michael Lesslie on X-Men? You excited for Rob Liefeld's last ride? Are you excited for Venom War? You excited for that new Wolverine book? Let me know in the comments below. And most of all, and most importantly, other than subscribing, which is fairly important, this is actually more important, go do something cool. Do something that you want to do today. That is your homework assignment, dear internet. Anything you've been like, I want to make time for that. Make fucking time for it. Go do that and let me know what it was below. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.